Hello, 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 hello. Are we here? We're here. We're here. We're here. I'm the only one here. I'm the only one here. Gee, I guess I'm going to have to riff for a bit. Sorry I'm late. It was the news. The news was on late, and so that kind of made me late. 15 minutes late, the news. What's that all about? And so, it kind of made me late, and then taking the dog out late, and then getting back in again. Just late. I'm ever so sorry for being late. I'm going to apologise, and hopefully you can forgive me for being late. It was the news. It was news what made me late. ITV News was late, and that made the London news late. That made me late. But I'm here now. Oh, I didn't get the job at Twitter. I applied for UK creator at Twitter. Didn't get the job. Oh, that's a shame. I'd have been good at Twitter because I know what Twitter is. I know how it works. It was only a 3-month contract. So who cares? Who cares? I can live without that. Ray Stafford's in. He's an actor. Egasus is in. How's your group been? Bit nippy actually. A bit chilly out this night. Jarvid's in, and so is Pain. The first of the pains. We have many pains. I have aches and pains, but we have a pain. So anyway, here we are again. Hope you haven't all gone mad yet with the lockdown. Brr, hot beverage. I am cold. It was cold out there tonight. I should have put my big coat on. Mind you, it was chilly during the day too, even though it was blue skies. It was still chilly, wasn't it? Still a bit chilly out there. For someone who goes, how am I doing? Yeah, well, it's because it's cold out there, and it's made me nose run a bit because I got back from walking the dog and it's cold. It's almost like a autumnal evening, and you go into the warm, your nose starts running, or maybe that's just me. Maybe it's just me. Mutton's in. He's in early. So, what should we talk about? Is there anything to talk about? I don't think there is. See my neighbour. I saw him the other day, and I said, evening. He didn't reply. Because I'm a cheeky monkey, and I shall not be intimidated. But we have a nice mound of fag-ins, nice mound of dog-ins on there, and 2 empty cans of Red Bull. It looks like a Tracy Emin installation. I might be able to sell it for 10 grand. What do you reckon? Shall I pass it off as an original Emin? Shall I do that? I don't know. But, the communal area out the front looks like a fucking, an ashtray. Look. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But yeah, it's all cool, man. Manton says, your bad cover version are always cool. Love the recent one. It was an old one. I did that a couple of years ago. It's just I'd forgot to add it to that channel. And like I said, Pink Floyd manually claimed my Wish You Were Here. They haven't claimed the Pigs on the Wing one yet. Ooh, but those after the Wish You Were Here ones. Not that anyone watches it. Not that there are any adverts on it. Not that I've made a dime out of it because I don't put adverts on those things. But they wanted to put an advert on it. What are you going to make? What are you going to make out of my terrible, crappy cover? You're going to make nothing. You are going to make nothing out of it because no one's going to watch it. But that's the music biz, TM. They're scrabbling in the dirt for the pennies, for the micro pennies, scrabbling in the dirt. And that's what you're going to see. So I'm really sorry about the sniffs tonight. It's very cold. It's very cold. That's my excuse. But yeah, that was an old one. I did it a couple of years ago, and I forgot to put it up. And then because Pink Floyd claimed my cover, I took that one down and I put that one up because I don't think Tim Buckley's gonna claim that somehow. But you never know. You never know. Am I going to do a bad cover of Imperial Zeppelin? Imperial Zeppelin. Oh, it's so imperial. Oh, it's so imperial. Herb says he can hear me, but I don't believe him. I don't believe that Herb can hear me because As soon as his head hits the pillow, he goes straight to the land of Nod. But he went. It's live stream tonight, isn't it, Dad? I went. He said, I can hear you. All I can hear is. He did it like that. I went, you cheeky monkey, you don't hear me. You go fast asleep. He goes, no, Dad, I can hear. He said, in my dreams I can. So I'm trying to be even more quieter than usual. Hi, it's Whispering Bob Harris, and welcome to another episode of the Old Grey Whistle Test. Tonight. But yeah, Rene has said he's used the fucking cold, and so it's been hidden. But we will reveal the fucking cold. Have I gonna? No, I meant to reveal it, not hide it. Oh no, I wanna. Oh no, that's not right. If you, yeah, how do I? Oh, I've got to click the wrong thing. Sorry, guys. But Rene says it's cold out there. It is cold out there. Earth with Love, you could do that one. I was thinking of doing Golden Brown because of what's his name, Dave Greenfield. I've probably gone mangled it. I nearly said Greenslade then, from the Stranglers passing because of COVID, and I love that song so much. Again, it's one of those early pop things. It was so weird. It came so out of left field that I was always entranced by it. Waltz Time as well. So yeah, I was thinking of covering that one, but doing it not like they do it, but maybe just with guitars and that. That should be really interesting to play. That got to get the waltz time going. I could probably do it on bass, but I could probably do it eventually. Payne's in, second go at the link was a charm. Oh, is it a bit of a problem? Oh dear, sorry to hear that. But anyway, welcome. The second Payne. I did say there'll be another Payne along. I was right with my prediction. Munton says, yesterday I listened to The Race of Space by Public Service Broadcasting. Brilliant album. It's the best of theirs. I mean, as a concept, it works. Their last one about miners and mining, it was a concept too far, It got obsessed with doing like worthy concepts. But The Race of Space is probably their best album. And I think it's, as a concept album, primo. It works. It is well worth checking out. Payne says it's like Leland Skye getting his own cover of his own. Well, he did, didn't he? He got claimed himself and he got upset. It's like, yeah. Welcome to our world, Mr. Skye. We've been dealing with this for many years. Again, I just, it's just, it can't be worth the hassle of employing someone to manually go through all these videos and claiming them, because the average punter who uploads a cover, very rare. I mean, you can't. I'm probably wrong, but I don't think you're going to break through with a cover version these days unless it's something particularly clever. So the average person who uploads a cover version is probably going to get, 100 views, 200 views. It's not going to be monetized, and it's not going to make any money for them. But they pay someone to claim the videos. It's like, really? It's like, well, the really ironic thing is that if YouTube wanted to, they could buy a license, a global license, and it'd be an expensive thing, but they could buy a global license, and which meant that everyone, or we could all kind of chip in. There could be an option where we flick a switch and we give them, a tenner a year to be, to pay a license, so we can play cover versions without being, affected. That should be an option, But I don't run YouTube, so there's no point in me coming up with great ideas because no one's going to take any notice. I am pissing in the wind, So there you go. Payne says, if you yell like Peter Hamill, then you can see if they're beginning. I'm not. That's why I'm keeping it quiet, And Pegasus says, sad to hear about loss of Dave Greenfield from the Stranglers. Exactly, a great shame. Jason says, you must sound like Kenny from South Park. Well, he's upstairs, so he's hearing it through the floor, you know. It's through the ceiling into his floorboards. So, that's for fans of Charlie Brown. Do I like the band Animals as leaders? Not really. Not my thing. Will Fleet Foxes be good for review? Well, their first album's alright, but then it all got a bit, you know, I didn't think they had enough to sustain it. It was really just the 1 or 2 hits that they had. And I got bored of them. A bit like, who's the other lot? Vampire Weekend. Though their last album, there was some interesting stuff on that, because they had this really good second guitarist with them, which made things interesting. But, you know, I don't know, yeah. There's a lot of things to look at, isn't there, really? There's a lot but I was thinking of doing the Stranglers. I bought, because they had one of those CD sets, you know, where you pay 15 quid and you get like 5 albums. I've got that coming, so I can, I could probably just stream it on YouTube Music, but it gives me something to hold up, you know, because you guys are visual creatures. You want to see the thing, don't you? You want to see the thing with the thing. So I've got that, and I might do that, you know. But we'll wait and see. Rene, too much vodka, Darren. Bored in this quarantine. Playing the guitar playing some games is nice, but miss the pub. Well, I don't go to the pub, can't afford it. Ain't you the lucky one? No, it's just, I don't know. It's just on. Not it's getting to me. I just feel like I'm run out of energy. I just feel really tired, you know. It's just, we go out and I take the dog for a walk, and we go out as a family and do our walking, and you know the kids are doing their schoolwork and that. But I just feel, I don't know. I just feel really tired. You know, I don't know. Maybe a bit. You know, Verity's finding it a bit hard now. She's getting a bit distressed by it because she's missing, you know, social contact, and even she's phoning her friends and that. You know, they're having a few phone calls and that. But I think, you know, she really needs the hustle and bustle of school. Herb doesn't mind, he's alright, you know. I don't think he's missing school. He's playing Minecraft a lot, so just let him get on with it. He says he's doing his schoolwork, and I trust him. I'm sure the teacher would tell me if he isn't. But Verity is getting a lot of coursework to do, you know, daily. She has daily lessons that she has to sit in. They're done like electronically in Google Classroom. Whereas Herbie only has like 3 pieces of work to do in a day, and he's just steaming through it. He needs more. But I'll be buggered if I'm going to start homeschooling, because then there's no point in me sending him to school then, is there? But next time the teacher phones, because we get a 1 phone call a week because of Herbie's on a EHCP thing because of his autism. So we get a phone call a week from the school just to make sure we haven't killed each other. And I'll get the missus to bring it up that he needs more work. Give him more work. Throw more work at him. For I'm a lazy parent. I'm a terribly bad, awful parent. I'm awfully, awfully irresponsible. I'm the last person in the world that should have ever had children. Don't ever trust me with kids. I'm awful. What was I going to say? I don't know. I'm just looking at my collection of pics. Look. These are Tortex ones, but my favourite are Gator Grip. And this is the one I use for bass, and this is the one that I use when I can't find this one. Man, these pics. Has it come to this? I've been obsessing about buying a camera, and I shouldn't. I keep thinking about it because I'm so fed up with the fucking webcam I've got. Oh wow, I forgot to sell my Canon remote control. Now I have to buy a Canon camera. I didn't realise I kept it. Oops, that should have gone out. Oh, it's got a little baggie to put it in. Oh, now I've dropped it. That's no fucking good, is it? Oh. Here we go. I'm going to put that in there for safekeeping. Look, that is now safe. Oops, I should have sold that with my camera. I'm bored. Who remembers Memory Stick? Who remembers Sony Memory Stick, eh? Who remembers that? It's probably photos on there, valuable, important photos. Duca says, I've been watching your Genesis reviews recently. Incredibly funny and entertaining. Good. They're meant to be. They're meant to be good. I had a few people looking at the Invisible Touch one. A couple of people going, you're right, Darren. You're absolutely on the nose with this. I didn't realise. But then you always have one goes, well, you know, it's not as good as when they used to dress up in foxes' heads and have mellotrons. And you go, yeah, but you're missing the point. You're missing the point. And then they quote American Psycho at you as if it's some sort of, you know, it's the law. But they're missing the point on that as well, because it's a comment about consumerism and being a yuppie, and not about having taste in music. That's not the point. They completely missed the point of the book. Oh well. That is a problem, isn't it? Isn't it just? But I'm glad you're enjoying them anyway. Payne says, weren't Fleet Foxes the ones that did the cover of Don't Stop Me Now on the Orient Express in Space on Doctor Who? Oh, could have been. John Daly's in. He says, hi. Hi. Norman says, best song in the last 20 years, Blinding Lights by The Weeknd. Okay. Blinded by the Light. Blinded by the light, wrapped up like a juice. Bruce Springsteen. John Daly says, random question, is it okay to have a favourite band even though you might not know every single album or song? I guess so. I never really thought about it. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to be an expert to like music. Oh, there's some bumping coming from next door. That doesn't sound good. You don't have to be an expert to to be a fan. I mean, again, there's fan and there's fan. Define fan. Fanatic. It comes from fanatic. Are you a fanatic, or do you just admire a few songs? It's because then you got the fanatic, then you got like the connoisseur. There's all levels of fandom. But I mean, to have a critical faculty, that's the thing. Because I mean, there are some bands. I mean, I really like Portico Quartet, but there's some of their stuff, like their third and fourth record, I'm like, I'm not that into. So you've got to be able to, I don't like blind loyalty. That's dangerous. But no, you can do whatever you want, mate. Do whatever you want, as long as you don't harm animals and children. You're doing all right. How did I choose the kids' names? Verity comes from the word veritas, which means truth. Herbie's name is because I like Herbie Goes Bananas and the Herbie movies. He actually wears a number 53 t-shirt sometimes. I don't know, just Herbie. It's just a great name. I used to call Alex a little Herbert sometimes, and when I saw Herbie, I said, he's a right little Herbert, and it kind of stuck. I remember when I had to speak to the in-laws, the missus of course is in hospital, so I'm phoning the in-laws to tell them everything's fine, and the mother-in-law says, oh, so have you chosen a name? And I go, yeah, Herbie. And she went, no, really, have you chosen a name? And I went, yeah, Herbie. And they were like aghast at my choice of name. But then a few years later, it was like, oh, that's his name. You chose the right name. It's the ideal name for him. So, it's just, that's all it is. I don't know, I just, you see a child and its name kind of sticks, I guess. But yeah. And their second names are the names related to their grandparents. My grandparents would have been their great-great-grandparents, so I got in. I took control. The missus didn't mind. She trusts me. I'm trustworthy. No stripper names. Have you noticed a lot of girls have stripper names these days? Payne says, I don't envy teachers trying to get everyone in the same speed in class when they go back. If they go back, and 5 in a class, I don't know. How's that going to work? And when you read reports that there are, how many different varieties of coronavirus out there? Crikey. Can't find it now. I read something like 19 varieties of coronavirus, and one of them is unique to the UK because it keeps evolving, and then we get new variants. But then I've read another thing that the reason that certain places have lower death rates is because of the BCG vaccination. We talked about that before, and you wonder how many people that died had the BCG or didn't have the BCG. And again, the missus pointed out that a lot of pregnant women get the booster when they have children, when they're pregnant, because they can pass it on to the baby, the antibodies. And I think she had a booster when she was pregnant, and that's maybe why more men are dying of it, because women have the BCG thing floating around inside them. It was an interesting idea. I think she might have an idea about that, but oh God, it's a very strange illness. Simon says, will it be hard to adjust going back to school? Yes and no. It's more the anticipation. There's a lot of stress beforehand, but once he gets into something, he gets into it. But it's the build up that is the hard part. It's a shame because if they don't go back, well, before September, one of his best friends is moving on. He's in the year above, and he's going to be going to another school. And that would have been the last he sees of him, and that's a great shame because they've been firm friends for many years, and Herb won't have the chance to say goodbye. But sometimes he can be, he could be all right about things, and sometimes they can bother me. Again, I can't say. It's like rolling a dice. Some things I think he can cope with, he can't, and some things he can't cope with, he can. It's just, I have no idea. It can be completely random. And he can be surprising. You should never underestimate him as well. So, I don't know. Rene says, well, you're not the only one. You're right. I feel fucking tired too in this corona period. I just seem to have hit the wall. I mean, I have a fairly small life as it is. It's just, again, I know Veri's finding it hard, and there's been a lot of talk, and how we can make her feel better and everything, and she's just, she's finding the monotony, and it's just incredibly monotonous for them. It's like the 6-week holiday, but worse. Again, because they've not seen their grandparents, and it's just. Yeah, it's a bit of a grind, but it could be worse, it could be worse. Duke Bud said, that's because I posted your Invisible Touch review in a few Genesis groups. Excellent. See, everyone be more like him. This guy is good. I like this guy. Duke Bud is good. Be like Duke Bud. Spread the fucking word, will you? Because I can't. I can't even post on the Yes Facebook page anymore. Not that I ever did. I got banned years ago, and I don't know why. I didn't say anything wrong. It was probably that Heaven and Earth review, wasn't it? Steve Howe probably read it. Oh fuck! I hope he doesn't watch the review of his biography. Go and read the reviews on Amazon for his biography. There's one guy on there who wrote his review. It was before I did my video. And it's like he watched my video, or I read his review. He's exactly on point with what I said. It's weird, but shows you, we're in the same kind of ballpark. But then there also are other people to go, this is wonderful. Is it really? Russell, like my cover version. Thank you. Payne says, I don't like Invisible Touch as much as I used to, but it has some great songs in it. Thrown Away is one I like a lot for some reason. Well, again, the thing about the album is I hated it at the time because it was very over-familiar. I have a problem with songs that are played to death, so Invisible Touch, I used to fucking recoil from it. And the album itself, I thought it was okay, it was alright. But I avoided it because of the songs. Tonight was everywhere. Land of Confusion everywhere. Domino was used on Grandstand for announcing the scores. Yeah, true. Half-time scores. It'd be, drunk, 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 drunk. Hibernian, 2. And yeah, you couldn't get away. They were like everywhere. You couldn't get away from them. It's like, so it became, it just really grated. And then, like I said, the surround sound version came, and I got to really listen to it and listen to what Mike Rutherford was doing. Again, he plays this really weird rhythmic picking guitar, all over it. It's really buried in there. It's like it's in the fabric of the songs. And again, it's not something, he's kind of, did he use it on that other one, the Shapes album? Not really. It's a very distinct sound that he coined, and the whole thing has a very distinct sound to it. That they never really replicated, or you can hear it's Genesis, but there's a very distinct. Again, it's like a fly being trapped in amber. The same way that I don't know, selling them by the pound has a distinct flavour because you've got mellotrons and flute and 12-string guitar. That's the same. If you're gonna pick out an album from then, it's Selling England, and then later on it's Invisible Touch. They're equals. And there'll be a lot of people out there that go, no, Darren, that can't be right. But the unique thing about Invisible Touch is people bought it, and they bought lots of it. It was a top-selling album, and so prog or progressive rock or progressive music got into a lot of homes, which makes them more successful than Selling England. And but Darren, just because it sold a lot of records doesn't mean it's any good. That's not what I'm saying. It's that the music on it is progressive. You will say it isn't, but it is. It is, because you have the dark electronica of Tonight, 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 the up tempo pop of Invisible Touch. You have ballads. You have 10 minutes of Domino, which is like a 20-minute epic squeezed into a tight space, and then it ends with an electronic drum led instrumental that ends the album. You don't get more progressive than that. And people don't like it because, again, it was popular, people bought it, so that means it's no good. But you want your band to have albums that sell, because then they'll make more albums. The bands that don't sell only do one album. I'm looking at you, Warm Jets. Even Gay Dad did 2 albums, but you know what I mean. People can get a bit fussy and they don't see the whole picture, and they certainly don't see it in context of the time, because the album is completely unique. And a fortnight earlier, Peter Gabriel had So out. You don't hear them complaining about So in the same way that they complain about Invisible Touch, and that's the irony of it. Because in an alternate universe, Peter Gabriel stuck with Genesis, and they brought out an album called So Invisible, and it was even more poppier, and there was even more hits on it. They both hit their creative and commercial peak at exactly the same moment. How did that happen? Because you couldn't have seen it from Peter Gabriel 4. Even the Genesis Shapes album, it did well, but it wasn't Invisible Touch. They both hit the zenith at exactly the same moment, and that's unique. There's never happened in any band. It's never happened before. So yeah, I think people need to fucking say I'm right more often. They just don't get it, because they don't want that album to be any good because it was successful. It's that thing of being, it's a cult, it belongs to me. When other people like it, it lessens the value of it, which is a really dumb way of looking at things. But when you're 15, I get it. But when you're an old man, I don't get it. But anyway, that's enough of that. I've gone on. Russell Watkins says, sad news about Dave Greenfield. It is. Stranglers, they're a great band. They really are. G-Man says, hey, evening, going back to plectrums. I've had the same bass plectrum since 1987. And I've many basses in that time, but only one plectrum. Well, I've had these for a long time. I don't know. I mean, I might have an old one somewhere. It might be in the drawer. Is this an old one? No, that ain't an old one. Hold it. There's some more. There's some more at the back. What have I found at the back? Here we go. A bag of plectra. For plectra is the plural of plectrum, in case you didn't know. And this, I should sell these, though they're a little bit warped. Look at the warp on that. It's been kept in a bag. This is your official. Hold on, let me get the camera up so I'm holding it in the right place. You can't see it. You can't see. Does that work? No, it's just getting brighter. That's rubbish. Let me get a dark one. That's it. Get a dark one, you prat. Oh, God. Can't get it out. There's too many of them. Is that a dark one? Oh, no, that one's no good. Can't find a good dark one. Talk amongst yourselves. That's the perfect one. I have found the perfect one. It is the perfect one. Look. Not only has it got my signature on, it's got my unique, totally unique logo on the other side, because no one's ever seen a logo like that before. Look at that. That's an amazing logo. I had those made in 1992, and there you go. And I've never used them. They're just purely for promotional purposes. Look, this is the only time anyone's ever seen them. Though I did impress the kids with them once. And Verity's got one. But I should sell those. They'll go down a treat. £100 each. There you go. Like a proper musician. 100 quid each. Oh, and I found a mystery SD card. And it's held together with sellotape, because Samsung SD cards are shit and fall apart. I'm going to put that in my drawer. There you go. I bet it's full of naughty pictures. I hope so. I could do with a frill. There's nothing else under there. Oh, yeah. Oh, dear. Oh, God, it's all gone wobbly. Andrew says hello. Robert Payne says there are plenty of fans of ABBA who don't know Happy or Why, or That's Me. Plenty of Queen fans who don't know Death on Two Legs. Well, exactly. People like certain periods, or they don't go past a certain point, you know. I just listen to all the records because it's something to do, but you don't have to do it, you know. It's just something that I do. Yeah. Good one, Peter. Good one. Yeah. I was going to call him Mortis or Yale or combination. It's just dead. John says, thanks for that. At the end of the day, it's all about enjoying it. Indeed, it's all about enjoyment. And if you can't enjoy yourself, what can you do? Norman Ackers says, my mind had a great sense of humour, calling me Norman when my last name is Ackers. Mr. Knackers. Is that your real name? Really? Oh dear. Crinkle Cut says, in the USA, Texas has seen a new massive surge in coronavirus. They opened too early, and this is a sign of what's to come if all our states open too early. Well, it's a real problem. You know, again, going back to the BCG thing, I don't think America really even, took that on, because TB wasn't a problem in the US. But I know Japan have done it, and so have, oh God, who's the other one? Was it Iceland? Someone like Iceland. Germany did. We did up until 2005, and then we thought, oh well, there's no one's got TB anymore. It's a bit like, with polio. We stopped. I mean, I had a polio vaccination when I was young. It was on a sugar cube. It's one of my endearing memories of going to the doctor, Dr. Griffiths, and he was a Scotsman. He was a scary Scotsman, and he saved my life. He got me. He told my mum, take him when I had pneumonia. He was like, he looked at me and went, hospital now. So yeah, Dr. Griffiths was cool. I like Dr. Griffiths. He's the only doctor I've ever had any time for. But yeah, it's going to be a real problem. I reckon that by June, the US are going to lose 1,000 people a day. But again, it's weird how it affects some people and not others. It's a real odd thing. And a lot of people who get it are asymptomatic. They don't even know they've got it. They just carry on. But again, I was talking about it with the missus. I mean, Herb had a persistent cough last year. This was around, I guess it would have been around this time last year. He had a cough for a month. Persistent cough, dry cough. We gave him cough medicine, whatever, but he couldn't shift it. It just wouldn't. And then it just went. At the same time, I thought that I was finished with like arthritis, because every morning I couldn't get out of bed because my legs hurt so much, my joints. And my eyes went really bad. I've got a regular eye infection. I've got these things. Oh, can you see that? Can you see? Oh no, you can't see. You'd have to get in there. There's like little ulcers in the inside of my eyes, and it was horrible. I can still feel them. There's still lumps there now. They've got a name, blepharitis or something. And my eyes have been incredibly dry. And that was really weird. And I felt terrible for about 2 months. Just felt awful. Was that a version of the coronavirus? Might not have been COVID. Maybe it was COVID-18. I don't know. There's some really weird stuff going around. I don't think it's as clear cut as they say it is. And I still think China didn't do a very good job of alerting the world, because I think we could have probably worked a bit harder to lock things down. But our government, any government, the last thing they're going to do is stop airplanes landing, because it's money, it's industry. It's difficult. I know people, they want you to be critical of the government, and it's easy to be critical because with hindsight we can say this, that, and the other. But I can't see any government having the right idea. Everyone's holding up Germany as the right idea, but even their experts are saying, from the models that they've taken, that they did a study of one town, and the percentages just didn't match the whole of Germany. They couldn't, and they reckon it's like the figures are 10 times higher. There's something not right with their figures. Who knows? Again, I'm not blaming the Germans. I'm not saying they're hiding anything, but it's one of those weird viruses that, like I say, some people it kills, some people you just get a cough, and some people just walk around as if nothing has happened. And if you've got a virus like that, how do you go forward? Mass testing? Well, the first test weren't right. They had false positives, false negatives, whatever. We're only now getting to a point where there's a testing system that works, but tests cost money, and sometimes people have it's complicated. So when this is all done and dried, then I'll have a go at the government. But in the ideal world, all borders should have closed immediately as soon as this was announced. There needs to be, not the World Health Organization, phooey, but there needs to be a global pandemic response group that when these things happen, they hit a big red button and then the doors come down, doom, and that's what they're going to have to move towards now when we've got stuff like this happening. Again. But then when you compare it to what cancer and heart disease, how many that kills, and car crashes, it's probably a small amount of people. But we don't know what this thing is. That's the worst thing. There's still that sense of not knowing. But there you go. But yeah, America, not good. Bad time to have Trump as a leader. Payne says, I'm in Ga. Which one's that? Ga. I know that one. No, don't tell me. Ga. Is it one of the southern states? Ga. Oh God. Ga. It's on the tip of my tongue. He says, pointing at his head. It's on the tip of my tongue. And I think they opened us too early. Even Trump didn't support our governor's decision. Well, again, money, innit? It's all about money. Because have you seen the Alex Jones clip? He's eating his neighbours when he runs out of food. He's a comic genius. I think he was wasn't he meant to be being funny? He's not a funny man, He still should be sued for all the shit he spread about Sandy Hook, But I saw a clip where he said he's going to eat his neighbour's arse. I don't know if I'd want Alex Jones eating my arsehole out. I don't know. It sounds a bit queer to me. But there you go. Each to his own. Whatever floats your boat. Any port in a storm. Andrew says, I'm in the Bay Area of California, and they're calling us a model of bending the curve. However, it's severe lockdown, and it feels almost like a police state. Yeah, well, this is it. Andrew says, I like the track tonight. There's an intensity about that fun riffing. Again, because it's almost industrial, you know. And again, it's completely different for Genesis. You have a hint of that with Mama, but there's a real dark brooding menace in that. I always find Mama a bit comical with the old ha ha ha, that gimmick. Renee says, I've ordered the Brave DVD, Meridian, on Racket Records. How do you like the Brave album / DVD? Oh, I did a review of it. Go and watch it. It's all there. It's all there, mate. It's all there. I've done it. I've done that one. Crinkle Cut goes, what do you think about Troye Sivan? Troye Sivan. Good pop music or garbage? Troye Sivan. What the fuck's Troye Sivan? What? That's not a real name. Ciorus says, I love the Brazilian. Who doesn't love a Brazilian? Who doesn't love a Brazilian? It could be a bit painful. I can't make your eyes water. All that hot wax. Akers says, how about the progressive masterpiece Knights of Sidonia from Muse? Oh, fuck off. Oh, Muse. Oh, God. Don't get me started on Muse. Don't. Russell says, nothing wrong with being popular as long as it's good. Pinks is in. He wants to know how it's going. Yeah, we're just ticking along. Slogged through Devs and Westworld. Very similar themes. Free will, everyone. Free will for everyone. Free willy for everyone. Yeah. Ciora says, I've had the same Dunlop for a decade. For someone says, I recently listened to I Can't Dance and liked it. Have you reviewed it? You mean We Can't Dance? I Can't Dance is the single. We Can't Dance is the album. It was originally going to be called Father and Son, hence the album artwork, but they changed it at the last minute to We Can't Dance as a comment on the influx of dance music in the pop charts at the time. Oh no. Pete Cush says, people exposing their plectrums on YouTube, it's disgusting. How you type that is how my daughter says that. Well, actually she says disgusting, apparently. You're saving up for a Mellotron, learning. Blimey. You're rich. You know you can buy, there's a really good Mellotron plugin from Arturia. Just get that instead. Tim Jones, not Tom Jones. Yeah. Tim Jones, he went to the doctors. He says, Doctor, I think I'm Tom Jones. The doctor says, it's not unusual. I know I did that one before, but it's too good. He's Tim Jones. He's only one letter away from being Tom Jones. It's perfect. He's perfect for that joke. He says, for me, each Genesis album is very different. They're always trying to progress. Exactly. He's got it. He's got it. They're trying to move forward. That's the interesting thing, you know. There we go. Andrew says, America is really eager to reopen, but too soon. A rush to save the economy from further damage. Massive unemployment here. How's the lockdown over there? Slow reopening being discussed. Well, there's more people around. There's more cars around. But, you know, it doesn't really affect us. Just getting shopping delivered is the hard part. You know, because the missus is working from home anyway. So, you know, that's that. Her company's allowing her to do that, so it's not a problem. So yeah, we're isolated. We're all right. But, you know, I don't know. Again, I think, you know, there's part of me thinks, yeah, we need to do something. We can't just stay like this, because I don't think it's productive. I think, you know, it's going to be harmful to people's mental health, and I think people have to be trusted, you know. But, you know, when it comes to reopening the underground and tube network and the buses, how are you going to social distance on that? you know, it's hard. This is modern life has finally reached its apex. This is it. This is why having such dense populations is a mistake, because, you know, an outbreak like this is just going to cut through it like a, you know, hot knife through butter. So it's a real tricky time. Yeah. But what can you do? What can you do? They're not going to change the world. Maybe they. Oh, I can hear music. I can hear music from next door. That's good. A bit late. Akka says, had some good news today. Apparently I'm immune to COVID-98. Pain's back. Hooray! Crinkle says, maybe at this point there's COVID-20. Well, you never know. Munton says Iceland's been handling the virus well. It's because there's nobody there. There's no one there. It's like my man and his dog. Nobody wants to go to Iceland. That's the thing. Mum goes to Iceland. That's for people in the UK. But, you know. Oh God, Munton says, I was playing a live Gentle Giant album today. Amazing band. Oh no. Oh, absolutely. Oh, awful. Awful band. Payne says, I still think the best thing Genesis did in the 80s is Home by the Sea. I prefer Abacab, that album. You know. Lurker. You know, and all that stuff. Oh, sounds like we're having a party next door. They could probably hear me talking. Maybe they can hear me talking through the walls. Who knows? They might be watching a live stream. Oh dear. That could be problematic, couldn't it? Hi neighbours. But yeah. It's hard to know where everything's going with all this though, isn't it really? Nice Nomad says, hope you're well. Yeah, I bucketed ordered the S Final box set with the Stephen Wilson mixes. Did I make a mistake? Oh, you got some nice sleeves. It's not making a mistake, it's just, you know, I mean, it's good if you haven't got the vinyls. Is there a big difference? Negligible. The artwork, yeah, it's good for the artwork, you know. But it's the real problem with it. It's got a rude word on the back. It's got Declan Colgan's name on the back of it. So, you know, got to swerve to avoid that. Yeah, because Pangeric's involved, and you know, that lot are involved in it. So, yeah, you might want to sell it on. But again, it's, you know, again, oh God, I'm in two minds about the whole Stephen Wilson mixing thing, because they're wholly unnecessary. They're very rarely like better than the originals. There's only one, I can only think of one, and that's Islands by that band, which really benefits from a remix because it was badly done at the time, and they cleaned it up, you know. But that's about the only album I can think of that's gone through the Stephen Wilson process that I think benefits from it, you know. You know, and again, I said this before. I remember reading an interview with Ian MacDonald, who was in that band, and he was explaining what it was like to mix the record, that one, you know, the one they keep reissuing, you know, the hit, the one that makes all the money, and how he was in the studio and had his hands on the faders, and you know, he actually helped mix it, you know. He made the mellotrons swell in and out, you know, and he was explaining how, you know, unless you were in the room, if you were actually there, you won't know what went on. And so when people like Wilson comes along and try to like remix it, there's going to be a certain human element. because again, it weren't automated faders like you have now. It's all done manually. And there was someone else, I think Greg Lake said a similar thing, how he just thought the remixes were a waste of time. He just did it for it was something that the record companies demand, because it's another way of squeezing $1 out of everyone. And they're relatively cheap to do. So I don't know, I'm kind of in two minds about it, what the actual value of them are. Again, it's different when someone like Kate Bush comes along, or Genesis, and they have they have total control over the product, and they're the ones that are signing it off, and they know the material. Again, the Genesis remixes are a great example of that, because it was done by committee. That's why it took so long to do. And when people complain about them, it's like, well, everyone had a say in that. Everyone got to, and you don't get that with any other ones, because they just go through. It's like a sausage machine. They go through. Nobody signs them off, other than that man, the featured artist. But when it comes to like Marillion stuff and ELP or Yes, just goes through the system. No one can veto it. No one can say this is wrong. Just goes through and is released. There's very little input from the people that were there at the time. Oh, that's good. So it's you take from that what you want. But you'll find out. You'll find out soon when you listen to it if it's any good. The artwork's good, because there are some alternate Roger Dean sleeves, which is a novelty. But yeah, again, it's what you get from it. I'm just saying where I'm coming from. Martin says, just listen to Phil Collins' solo album, Testify. I haven't listened to that one. Payne says, I always thought that We Can't Dance was a neat title. Probably that it doesn't matter. Well, again, I think they didn't. They obviously didn't have enough time to redo the album. The album sleeve was already kind of commissioned and comes in, and it's like, oh, we're going to change the title. Too late to do a redo of the title. So there you go. Martin says, do you know that a very young Elton John did backing vocals on Delilah? No, I didn't. That's nice. Martin asks, what Steely Dan song did you just like? I have no care for them. It's like asking me what's my least favourite ELO song. And I say the shortest one. The shortest one. Pink's is that one. Oh, where are we? Crinkle says, I wonder if there have been people who committed suicide due to the isolation. Yeah, it has happened. It has happened over here. There will be more. There'll be more people suffering mentally over it, because people haven't experienced this kind of thing before. There are people that are used to being on their own. There are people that are used to it, but there are others who aren't. It's just it's the uncertainty that I think it's what pushes people over the edge. Is we think our lives are certain, but they're not. There's only certainty of life is its uncertainty. We are told that if we do this, do that, Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt, but it doesn't always go like that. Life can be unpredictable, and for some of us who've had great surprises thrust upon us, we're used to this kind of thing. But for a lot of people, they just trundle along, and then when this happens, it's a great deal of stress that they're totally not used to, and that's that's unfortunate, but there you go. That's life. Get used to it. It's never going to be the same again. Payne says, I find Steely Dan to be the studio perfection to the point of immense boredom. Oh, it is, isn't it? That's the problem with them, is they're too perfect. It's too shiny. It's too, like you say, too perfect. And I don't get it. People go, oh, Steely Dan, and I listen to it, and it's all the life is just sucked out of it. It's just session musicians. That's great if you want to listen to perfect, musical perfection. But I don't get anything from that. It's good what they do, but it doesn't. It doesn't work for me. Oh. Aka says Passion Play is much better with the Stephen Wilson mix. Maybe. Maybe. Harrison Productions is in. He says hi. Munton says the Night Fly is awesome. Is that Fagan? Yeah. Luna says Japanese giant hornets are here in the US and they scare me. I've seen those things. They're big, aren't they? They're like that big. Oh, wouldn't it be funny if they were the cure to coronavirus? Everyone had to be stung by a giant hornet to get the cure. That would be something else, wouldn't it? Oh my goodness. Andrew says, in your opinion, what is the best progressive rock album that encapsulates the situation of this isolating, depressing lockdown? I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea. I have no idea. There isn't one. Nope. Nope, there isn't one. I mean, there are bits of albums, bits of like maybe the final cut, but it's not a whole album. It's a bit peculiar, isn't it? Really, a bit peculiar. How's things? They're ticking along. I haven't gone completely mad yet, but getting there, slowly getting there. Just running out of energy. It just feels like really exhausted by it all. Really, it's just I don't know. Maybe I should stop watching the news. That might help. Yes, I did hear about Dave Greenfield. I tweeted it. We talked about it briefly on here. Yeah, I mean, I know he wasn't well. He was in hospital with heart problems and COVID-19, and that's why you don't want to go to hospital at the moment. It's not a good place to go. A favourite song by Australia? It's got to be Golden Brown. It's just I remember it from my childhood. It's just so weird, so out of left field. It's just brilliant. Again, a good pop song can come from nowhere, and its influence can be odd, and it can, like I say, be in waltz time and be about drugs and not get banned by the BBC. No, it's just a really clever song, and it's just really great, really good one. Where are we? Adam says, do you think the Beatles remixes are an improvement, particularly in the case of Sgt. Pepper, where the original stereo mix is rather lopsided? Well, again, in the old days, I mean, the argument is that mono was what they mixed, and the stereo mixes were like an afterthought. Again, you're so used to it. It's the way it is, isn't it? Were they better? I don't know. I mean, with that Abbey Road, I think the bass is a bit too heavy, a bit too pronounced in places. That was my take from those ones. The Sgt. Pepper's ones, they're all right. They're all right. Were they better? Again, it's that thing. Are they better? Are they better? Do you feel that they're any better? Again, with that album, it's just the original mix is so ingrained in my psyche that it being different is probably a bit of an affront. It's a bit. It's a bit disturbing that it's different, but I don't know. Again, I see it more. Again, I see it more. Although all this stuff being more of a novelty, more of a, because the artistic statement was there at the time. Doing it again, without the input of the actual artistes, it kind of invalidates it for me. Harrison and Lennon need to be there with McCartney and old Ringo. They all need to be there in the room and pushing the faders, and arguing over it for it to have any validity. And I think, because the remix, especially in the progressive rock circle, has become, fashionable, a thing, a way of getting you to buy it again. It's, it's, I don't know what you'd say. It's, you got to look at it for what it is, and that's the problem. I think a lot of people. I think a lot of people are not paying attention. Most people don't care. It's only the diehards who pick up these things. It's only the diehards who compare and contrast. You might get some people who see a copy of the Sgt. Pepper's remix in Sainsbury's and buy it, on the off chance, because hey, I remember that record. But I don't think that many people actually care about it. Nobody really cares, only the diehards and the record companies, because it squeezes just a little bit more money out of the fans, So I'm kind of a bit ambivalent to it all, really. I think it's just because it's done all the time. It's so commonplace. It happens all the time. Like I said, we've still got more Marillion ones to get through, and I mean the one that really needs a redoing is Fugazi, and I've got a really bad feeling it's going to sound just after the script one, which was I prefer the 99, 97, whatever it was, that remastering, because it had a little bit more bottom end to it. But we'll wait and see. Look, it's not up to me. It's just my opinion. If you like it, then good for you. This is it. We all have our line in the sand, don't we? But if I've got the choice, I'm always going to go back to the original. That's the thing, because that was the artistic statement. Yeah. I think that's about right. Which horror movie is the most prog? Event Horizon. Payne says, I like the White Album remix. Well, I didn't listen to it because I don't really care much for that record. So, have I watched With an Owl and I? Not all the way through, funny enough. I've seen bits of it. Payne's going because it's tomorrow. See you next week then. Tom Pink says he's stopped watching the news and it's helping him. That's good to know. I think that could be a thing. Harrison says he can't wait for the remix of Revolver. Again, does it need it? But there'll be people out there that'll think it's good. 83 says, I can hear your neighbours' loud music. What a nightmare. Maybe get some peace from those low lives. It's our life now. This is it. We either got to move or that's it. They're not going to change. They don't give a fuck. My kids are asleep. What do they care? They've got a baby. But I don't wake their child up. Can't stop my son having a good time. He's autistic. He makes a noise. That's that. But I don't play music. Well, I don't play music late of the night because I've got my own children. But this is what we're dealing with. The thing is they've got neighbours below them, and they've got neighbours the other side of them. So it's the people downstairs who are going to feel it more than me. They're going to feel it more because they've got a bedroom underneath them. It'll be those people that complain, not me. It'll be those people. But yeah, it is what it is. When you live in a social housing block like this is, I mean, we have a mortgage on this, and there's only us, people down there, and the guy at the end who own their own property. The rest of them are, like I say, social housing. So, I mean, the lady we had there next door before, she was really nice. Her son was, nice. They worked, and they're busy people, and we chatted and that. But You know, if they were good kids and didn't turn the front doorstep into an ashtray, a giant ashtray, it wouldn't be so bad. But you know, everybody in Oakley Court, you know, saw you, mate, saw you running around with your knife stabbing the wheels of the car and screaming at your missus with the baby in the back. You know, everybody saw that because you screamed so loud like a girl. You know, everyone saw you, mate. You think you're invisible, you know, but you're not. Everyone saw it. That's why I avoid you, because you're no fucking good. And I also don't like you letting your dog jump on my dog, because if my dog bites your dog, you're going to get pissed off with me. My dog is a rescue dog. She's a little bit nervous around other dogs. That's it. That's why she doesn't have any dog friends here. That's why I don't have another dog. But you're not going to take notice of that because you think you know my dog better than I do. Ah, oh, people, don't you love them? Unfortunately, COVID-19 doesn't wipe out the right people. That's the only problem. But yeah, they're low lives. That's it. They're low lives. Mountain says, do you remember the Big Head Todd and the Monsters? Yeah. I actually had an album of theirs once. How did I get it? Oh God, I had a copy of their album. Shit. I think I got given it to review when I was working. But I have no memory of it. But I remember the name. That's very strange to remember that. How do I take my coffee? Hot. Milk and sugar, of course, obviously. Rene says, that noise from the neighbours and you're being so cool. Respect. What's the point? You know, the thing is like I say, the people downstairs are getting it worse than me. There are people below them. There are people on the other side. You know, this is it. They are surrounded. You know, but the thing is, you know, if I want to make trouble for them, I can. I get in touch with the council. I can say they're being antisocial. I can say, come and look at the doorstep. Come and look at this. Come and look at what they've done. You know, this is antisocial behaviour. And they will get a warning. They could even lose the flat. I could do that. But I choose not to do that because God pays debts without money. They'll be dealt with by other people, by other forces, not by me. It's not my fight, you know. But if he gets in my face, I ain't backing down. That's the way it goes, you know. And if you're watching this, I'm not scared of you. I never will be scared. I've dealt with bigger, worse things. I've dealt with people a lot worse and more scary than you, if you're watching. But you're not. You're strung out on Red Bull and cigarettes. Oh dear. But there you go. Oh, blimey. Payne says, yeah, all the Beatles remixes are bassy. Yeah, I just noticed it more on Abbey Road. You know, it's just, but I don't mind it. I like listening to Paul McCartney's bass. You know, so it doesn't bother me. But I can imagine other. I mean, I always tend to mix my stuff too bassy. You know, Mrs. when she hears it goes, God, that bass is loud. I go, I like the bass. But yeah, on Abbey Road it was particularly noticeable. Didn't notice it so much on Sgt. Pepper. Did I listen to the White Album? Did I listen to it? Was it on Spotify? I might have listened to it. Oh God, I listen to a lot of stuff. I lose track. I lose track of stuff. I can't remember. I might have listened to it. Did I talk about it when it was released? I must have listened to it. Just didn't buy it. Wasn't buying it. Tim says, Darren, did the script remix sound much different from the original? I'm waiting for the single vinyl release. I like the small differences the other remixes have. Sort of different, but not. Yeah, I mean they're different. That was the bookshelf creaking. Yeah, it's a bit different. I mean, I was more into the like the surround sound mix, which it didn't work for me. Some of the vocal levels were a bit off, and some of the placement of stuff was a bit weird choices. You know, it's all right, but it sounded even more brittle. It sounded more brittle, if that's the best way of describing it. It sounded a little bit more empty, you know. But you might like it, I don't know. Is it clearer? Yeah, could be a bit clearer, I suppose. But I like that. I like the fact that the original mix, especially the remaster, it didn't sound like it was an 80s record, whereas now it sounds more like it is, like it when it was recorded, if that makes any sense. It sounds more closer to Fugazi. That's what I'm taking from it, and I don't like that record. I don't like the way that record sounds at all. But it's I know other people like it, so it's, again, don't listen to me. What do I know? What do I know? I don't know anything. No, the surround sound mix. I thought the surround sound, the surround sound mix of Misplaced was good. I thought Brave was alright. Didn't think much of Afraid of Sunlight. What's the other one? Clutching at Straws. Yeah, it was alright. It was okay. And I didn't think much of Misplaced. So, yeah, kind of 6 of one, half a dozen the other, isn't it, really? But, I like the documentaries, though. They're good. Especially the documentary on the Misplaced, on the script. I'm getting them all. It's late. It's late. Especially because the documentary on script, it's like 90 minutes long, and it really goes back in time to the very beginning of the band and that. And that's really, I thought it was really cool. That's the buying. That's the point. That's the point of buying it. For me. But it's like, problem with me is I buy something, I listen to it, and then I sell it on. I get bored really easy. I don't once I've experienced something, it's like, yeah, I've done it. Other people are a bit more precious about these things, and again, that's your thing. We all have our ways of doing things, don't we? So there you go. Where are we? Adam says, I kind of agree with Pepper. The mono is still my favourite, although it's nice to have a modernised stereo mix. It's at least nice to have the choice. Well, again, it's as long as they don't, they don't come round at gunpoint. McCartney comes round, says you've got to listen to this mix and nothing else. That'd be funny, wouldn't it? It'd be weird. Martin says Paulie's taken over. Is he? Adam says, and the mono mix was the only one the band themselves worked. And exactly, they used to do the monos first, and then, like I say, they'd go off, to some wild party in the swinging 60s, and let the engineers do the stereo mixes. That's that. But again, it's, oh God, I can see why people get precious over the mono mixes, but it's not for me. If you're listening, I don't know, on an old valve radiogram, or on the technology of the day, which would have been a mono, all-in-one record player or something like that, I can understand, why you'd want to listen to it that way. If you've got that gear, but if you've got a nice stereo amp and a nice, you might as well just put the bloody stereo on and be done with it. I think you're just being pernickety for being pernickety's sake. But again, each to their own. Each to their own. I could just stick my finger in me. That's what I do, innit? I'm going mono now. Andrew says, sounds for the neighbours can get irritating depending on what they're doing. I wake up to neighbours having wild, passionate sex, probably due to COVID-19 and being bored. Maybe a Tinder hookup. Oh, I used to have that. But it was with my the neighbour downstairs, and it was nothing worse being woken or being kept away by wild gay sex with the sound of two men going, yeah, do it, fuck me in the arse. One, it really does keep you awake, and two, it really puts you off of any kind of romantic. You talk to the missus and go, I don't fancy it. No, I don't fancy it at all. At least if you listen to another couple doing it, you could probably get a rise out of it. But when it's two men hammering away, and they're obviously on some sort of recreational party drug as well, and then the ABBA comes on, they finish off with ABBA and a wild sing-along, That's what I had to deal with many years ago. So this is a walk in the park. And then he'd beat his boyfriend up. Those were the days. Oh dear. He didn't like me either. I don't know why. I never said anything to him. But it's what goes on. Who remembers Toad the Wet Sprocket? Blimey. Wasn't that named after a Monty Python sketch or something? Payne says, I cannot listen to a mono mix when there's a stereo mix available, no matter what they like. Exactly. It just seems alien. Unless I had a mono record deck, then I may, or if mono is the only option, then that's what you do. But, if you got the choice, if you got the option, you might as well go for stereo, because that's... You got 2 ears, haven't you? Got 2 ears. Yao Margarito is in. He says some stereo mixes of mono albums are very bad. They put the voices in one channel and the instruments in the other, and nothing in between. Yeah, they're very rare, though, aren't they? They're a bit rare. Northern Dawn says, do you think people might get into music in general because of the lockdown? No. I think they'll get into making music and learning an instrument, because apparently instrument sales have gone through the roof during this period. But whether or not that'll encourage people to listen to more music, I don't think so. There's far too there's plenty of other media to watch. There's Netflix and whatnot. So I think music is still the poor man. The poor man of the entertainment industry. When you got computer games and movies and whatever else, music comes right at the bottom. Especially as there's so much poor music out there. Anyone can make an album. Any loser can record an album, and it'd be shit. There's too much music. We need to get rid of people like him. He's an arsehole. Get rid of him. Cancel him. Cancel culture. That's what we need. I need to say something outrageous. Ain't football boring? That's the only outrageous thing I can think of at the moment. But no, I don't think so. Lenin sees it as great therapy. He loves his music. There's old Lenin. Well, good job you covering up, Lenin. That's a good idea. Russell says, I don't think Revolver needs a remix. It's as cool. Also, George Martin isn't around, so ceasing. Well, Giles Martin is the guy to go to, and I mean, Giles Martin has been responsible for the remixes for many, many years, even before his father's passing, because George Martin lost his hearing a long time ago. I think it was in the 80s, mid-80s, and Giles Martin was there, and he was like, what do you think, son? Wink. And they came to an understanding that Giles Martin would be his ears, and so he meticulously listened to his father's work and tried to second guess him. And so it's as good as having George Martin there, because he has studied his father, and tried to keep it in line with his sensibilities, which it's very interesting interview with him about that. And again, I don't think a lot of people realise that. But yeah, I don't think it. Tom Pink says, wouldn't it be nice to get with your neighbours? Exactly. I sung that last week, mate. Then he says, I love watching anime. Oh, I remember when anime was when it was called manga. I remember doing reviews of things like Akira back in the day. I remember I was on a mailing list for a video. I remember his VHS tapes, and they used to send me all this stuff to review. Oh, those were the days. So for me, anime is kind of a bit old-fashioned. I think the world's moved on, but kids still like that stuff. But yeah, I remember all that stuff. It was in the 90s. In the 90s. I remember that. God, it was a long time ago, wasn't it? It was a long time ago. Oh God, it's all gone up the screen again. Where are we? Oh Christ, I've lost the questions again. Munton says, my hillbilly neighbours moved out last week, thankfully. Oh, that's nice. Payne says, Revolver's mix is okay. Yeah. Harrison wants to know, what favourite GG song? Do you mean Gentle Giant? I don't have one. It'll be something off of Three Friends. It'll be one off of that album, I'd imagine. Thoughts on G.G. Allen? Isn't he the one that smeared himself in his own faeces and run naked around the audience? Yeah. Tom Pink says, what is best or more interesting, Peter Gabriel concert film? I wanted to give Growing Up Live a go, but I don't really care for the Up material. It's a good gig. It's a good gig. I like it. I mean, actually, that's my favourite one. Well, I mean, again, I saw that one live, and I saw the Us tour live, and I thought, you know, it was a much more interesting stage show, more visually interesting. It was in the round, and you know, and also I forgot that close. Peter Gabriel was like next to me. He looked at me. The missus reminded me, was talking about it the other day. She went, you remember Peter Gabriel was there, and he looked at us and we smiled at him and he smiled back at us. And I went, oh yeah, I forgot about that, because I'm talking about doing the re-gig thing, and I forgot that. That was at Wembley Arena, because the warm-up was on. I think it was the Blind Boys of Alabama, I think. And he was doing the rounds, and he was right next to us, because we was in the front row. And he was right there. Right there. Oh, right there. That's probably why he still follows me on Twitter. He probably remembers me. What do you reckon? That could be a thing, couldn't it? Garrett says, I couldn't pick up one favourite Gigi song. Okay. Payne says, even the Toll remix have some added bass. Payne says, I don't listen to the White Album any more than I have to. You're a man of great taste and distinction. Thoughts on Donovan? Jennifer, the juniper, lives beside the sea. They call him Mellow Yellow, quite rightly. I love me some Donovan. No, not James Donovan, Jason Donovan. Jason Donovan, isn't it? Harrison says, I used to listen to the White Album a lot, but now I think it's overrated and should have been a single album like George Martin wanted it. Well, again, that's the problem. I think there's a good single album in there, you know, and that's not me like parroting Martin. I just find it, again, after, I mean, it's let's face it, it's a reaction to Sgt. Pepper. Sgt. Pepper is just like, as an artistic statement, it is just in there, you know, it's nigh on perfect, apart from that bloody weird hippie bit with the George Harrison. Apart from that bit, but as an album, it's a pretty strong artistic statement. Again, I think because it's very familiar, and over time probably, you know, people got a bit bored with it. But you got to remember, it came out of nowhere. It came out of nowhere. You know, bam, blammo. Look what the Stones did as a reaction to it. Their Satanic Majesty's Request, and the only good thing about that is the lenticular sleeve. You know, that is a fucking awful album. But what was I saying? Yeah, back to the White Album. The White Album is a complete reaction to Sgt. Pepper, whereas, you know, that was really honed and precise, and it's like a laser targeted missile. It's just like bang, it does its job. White Album it's flabby, it's unnecessary, it's just bleh. It lacks definition and shape. It's just bleh, you know. But you got to keep Obla Di Obla Da on there, alright? That is the fucking best song on that record. God damn it. And I'll fight anyone who disagrees. But yeah, I just think I just find it too much. I just find it just too much. You know, the individual songs are, you know, some are good and some I'm indifferent to. You know, but and then you have Abbey Road. So we've got to know, you've got Sergeant Abbey Road. We don't talk about that one, in that other one. We don't talk about that one. It's rubbish. Watkins says, I forgot. I listened to Fugazi for the first time in ages. Forgot how bleak it was. Yeah, it's not the bleak. It's the sound of it. It's just such a fucking awful, metallic, hollow record. You know, I find it very soulless. And the songs work so much better live when you've heard the live renditions of the songs. You know, some of it's all right, but yeah, it's not a happy record. Punch, 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 the Judy, punch, punch, punch. That was the single. Oh dear. Nursing an erection, a misplaced reaction. It's like, oh fuck. Don't play that in the car. That actually happened. Oh god, when was it? It was with my mum and a fellow, Lenny, the man who gave me the guitar. And there was it wasn't my tape. He'd bought a Marillion tape because he knew I was into Marillion. It was Fugazi. And it, I don't know, it wasn't wound through, and he put it in it. That was the first line that came out, and I'm sitting in the back going, oh fuck. Oh no. In the car, I'm sitting in the car going, oh no, not this. Why did it have to start on that one? Why couldn't it have started on Assassin? Because it hadn't been rewound properly. You had to be there. It was only that much embarrassing. You had to be there. And then, I remember we'd gone to a party with the in-laws. Gone to this party, and on the way back, it was a Friday night rock show, and they played La Gazzaladra, but the whole of Misplaced Childhood live in the car back, which was good, and we listened to that. Mrs. probably wouldn't remember that, but her dad kept it on because he was trying to be cool, you know. It was a Friday night rock show. Let's be cool. Funny memories. But there you go. Adam says, I'll stick my head above the parapet. The White Album's my favourite album ever. You're perfectly entitled to that. That's it. And I'm entitled to say it's a bit of a mess, you know. But I can imagine if at the time, again, if you bought one record and you haven't got a lot of money and it's the 60s and you know you've saved up and you buy that record and it's the one record you've got and you play it to death, I can understand why you'd love that record. You know, it makes sense because you've spent your money, you've got good value, and you've got a lot of music for you know, a lot of Beatles for your money. You know, I'm just casting a critical eye over it because that's what I do. You know, it's what we do. It's what we come here for. But I can understand why people love it. You know, because there's a lot of it there, and if you want a big meal, it's a big meal. You know, I like the idea of albums being sculpted and you know being just the perfect length and the, you know, to hold your interest. That the old 35-40 minute album, you know, I just love that concept. You know, like albums got too long. I've said that too many times. Sorry. Munton says, really though, I love Dear Prudence, Mother Nature's Son, and Long. Munton says, what if they release a new version of Abbey Road and it just is Paul's isolated bass? I'd buy it. But it'd have to have a bit of Ringo tambourine in there, wouldn't it? A little bit of Ringo tambourine. Andrew says, in regards to the Beatles, I still kept my 2009 stereo box set, massive black box set with all the albums. I had that because Amazon had it on offer one Christmas, and I bought it. Mrs. said I could buy it with her Christmas bonus, and we listened to it all, and it was nice. We listened to it together. The vinyl version. That was, oh god, must have been about Christmas 2014 when we moved here, and we listened to it all together. It was nice, and the kids listened to it and they enjoyed it. It was like a family thing. And then I put it on the shelf and it sat there for a long time, and I thought, oh, I better sell it, because I started doing that Beatles partwork thing. I sold all those as well because I get fed up with looking at boxes on shelves. It's just box sets just do me head in, because you put everything back in the box and you can't be bothered to get everything out of the box again. You know, that Queen box set's bothering me. I keep looking at it going, you really ought to fucking play those records, Darren, because they're in that. But it takes so much, you know, it gives you a hernia to lift the box off the shelf because they're full of vinyl, and then you've got to take out the outer sleeve and you're only getting creased and crumpled, and then you open that and then you take the record out, and each individual record its own little poly bag, and then you've got to carefully undo the poly bag and then by the time you've done that, you think, oh, this isn't the record I wanted to listen to. Now I want to listen to Queen too, and I've got, you know, Hot Space out by accident. You know, it happens. Sold a lot. Just call it up on Spotify or whatever. Just do that. It's just easier, isn't it? Yeah, While My Guitar Gently Weeps is a fine song too. Yeah, Happiness is a Warm Gun. I can't stand a lot of Lennon stuff. Tim Jones says, yeah, I found the vocals on the original Brave too buried at certain times. The remix certainly fixes that. Hogarth is more prominent, which I really like, as the lyrics deserve to be heard. I never really had that problem, you know. I remember at the time with Season's End. Who remembers Season's End? Mind you, we haven't had Holidays in Eden yet. I remember with Season's End finding him a bit hard to understand in places. Because, you know, it's getting used to a new vocalist. He stresses things differently and that. But, you know, by the time Holidays in Eden came around, I'd got into, you know, I got into it. Certainly a lot more preferable to like what Fish was doing, you know, this old Internal Exile. That was it. Oh no, that wasn't the last one I bought. Wasn't it Suits? Wasn't that? Didn't he do an album called Suits? I think that was the last one I bought of his, and it was like, oh God, you just keep writing the same fucking song over and over again. I was done with it, you know. You know, I dipped back in. Yeah, I've heard all the other ones. Heard them all. No, I haven't. There's one I didn't hear. What's the one I didn't hear? Heard the one with the star. What's the one that's done? One with the something in a field. The one where it's done like a Vincent van Gogh cover. That one. I haven't listened to that one. It doesn't matter. No one cares. It all sounds the fucking same. Oh dear. Thoughts on Silverchair? I know I've heard the name, but I don't remember. I don't know if did they do anything in the UK. Ackers wants to know why Barclay James Harvey's never get seen to mention. Probably because I don't like them. They're not interesting. Recommended a Mellotron album for Lenin. Adam says, evening, forgive me if you've spoken about it, but have you reviewed Rupert Hine or the Thinkman stuff? No, I haven't. No, I haven't. Of the Hine stuff, I haven't heard Thinkman, but I do have. Wait a minute. Let me bring it up. I have. I thought I had one of his albums. Oh. That's weird. I'm sure I have one of his albums. Oh no, it's the wrong. No, I haven't. I don't know anything about him. Who is he? What did he do? I don't know. I've mistaken him for someone else. Rene says, do you think there'll be any concerts, gigs these years? I think Genesis will play. And everyone there will get COVID-19. It's all part of a conspiracy theory to kill off the older generation. There will Phil Collins on with like a mask in a hazmat suit, and he'll be going like that. She seems to have an invisible touch. Might rather have to wheel him to one side of the stage. She seems to have it. Everyone, it's audience participation time. It's going to be great. And you'll sit there wondering, why did I spend hundreds of pounds on this? Northern Dawn says, good music has always been one where you have to research it. B-Bay says, will Giles Martin do the entire Beatles discography? Well, if it makes money, then yes, they will do them all. Because it's all about whether or not they make money. If nobody buys them, now let's think about it, this is the Beatles, then they won't do any more, but they'll do them. And then they'll bring out a big box set with them all in. And there'll be a whole album of things that you've never heard before that will be specially mixed. Just so you buy it. Man. Payne says, I think the mix on Darren Rock albums is superb. Oh no, that's Stephen Wilson. He does a good job, doesn't he? Thank you. Oh dear. Sometimes the mixing can be the hardest part, I mean, there was one thing that took me 7 years to get right. That's why it's called 7 year itch, because it took me 7 years to finally kind of get it into a situation where I thought it was listenable. I mean, I got something I did the other day, and I think it sounds good, but I can't finish it. It's just not finished. It's like I've tried soloing over it, but I don't know. It just doesn't sound right, and I don't know whether to maybe do some keyboard on it or whatnot. But I've been like 3 days. I was trying to fucking finish this fucking thing. Just sounds great, but I just like, what is this? And does it need guitar in it? You know, maybe I should just do some keyboards. Maybe I should do some noodly keyboard stuff or something. I don't know. And then just go around in circles. Go around in circles, isn't it? Little circles. Where are we? Adam says, with the early Beatles albums, there's not much that can be done. Well, again, you know, when you're working off 4-track, and you've got to remember that even Sgt. Pepper was done on a 4-track, and they managed to remix that. But yeah, what can they do? Clean it up? Payne says the missus should be a guest. Oh yeah, like she's going to do that. She's far too sensible for this nonsense. She'll remind me, but again, she doesn't remember everything. I'm the one that remembers, and I'm surprised I've forgotten that. So, oh yeah, I remember. Maybe I'd remember it when I click record. The juices will come back and I remember it. But nah, Mrs. doesn't want any part of this, so good for her, you know. It's not for everyone, is it? Pink says, I'll give Growing Up a go. Give it a go. There's that, and Still Growing Up as well. Then you've got Back to Front and the orchestral one as well. Scratch My Back ones, you know. You know. Avoiding New Blood Like the Plague. Yeah, New Blood. I've got that. I think I've done these as unboxings. Maybe I haven't. Someone who knows these things will tell me. Wait there. I haven't sold these yet. I probably won't do it. It's because they're Peter Gabriel. I don't like doing. Oh, did I wake you up? Sorry. Boing. Yeah, this is the New Blood live in London deluxe edition. It's deluxe. Look at it. It's deluxe, and you get DVDs and Blu-rays and whatnot, and CDs. It's true. And there he is. And it is interesting. I mean, I was a bit averse to them to begin with, you know. But some of the live stuff, like Rhythm of the Heat and San Jacinto, translate very well, especially Rhythm of the Heat with the orchestra. It's quite powerful. In fact, I should probably do a review of New Blood, or whatever you want to call it, or Scratch My Back, or I don't know what it's called. I don't know what these things are called. New Blood, not Scratch My Back. That's awful. But yeah, look, there's pictures of people doing stuff. There we go. Whoa, whoa there. Look at this. It's like an unboxing. Yeah, not a bad set that. You can't find that anymore now. They must have made only about 3 of them, and I was only one to. Oh no, it's all gone wrong. Oh crap. Oh, they will put these flappy things on the back Look, it's the back piece, which is replicated on the back. Look, why have that when you've got that? Why so put that information on by region? Look, it's got spot varnish on it. Look at that. Look at that. Spot varnish. There you go. It's like the other one. There are Blu-rays and there are DVDs. I think no, this is 2 Blu-ray actually, and 2 compact discs. There are no DVDs here. No DVDs. And this is where he did So. All of So and that, which is nice. It's a good set. Quite like it. Interesting. I like this one. Skimps on the colour though. Look, it's gone all black and white. Boo! I paid for colour. God damn it! Where you get the idea? There's a lot of bald men dancing around. I don't know what that's for. What's that all about? Does that go on there like that? Does that go on there like that? Is that how it works? See? And it just flaps around and it gets creased up. And then when you try and sell it, it's all creased, you've creased it. Well, that was a diversion. It's late. I should really go to bed. Oops. I still have to go. I still go out in the morning, pretend to take the kids to school. Yeah, let it be, let it be. Let it be. Again, let it be. When I listened to that, I was surprised just how bad it sounded. It sounded really boxy and cardboardy, and it's old Phil Spector, who's supposed to be one of the best producers ever, and it wasn't very good. It'd be filed under B for big, Garrett. Adam says, I like it because of it's a sprawling mess. Exactly. I mean, I can understand why some people would like it, and you can understand why some of us go, this is a sprawling mess. You know? I'm scrolling through because I've got to go to bed. So don't feel upset if I've not mentioned your comment or question. Pink says, I'm looking forward to what Peter Jackson's doing with the footage. Yeah, should be good, that. Should be good. Apparently he has actually shown some of it to someone. Might have been Macca. And Macca was surprised. Oh, he's really good. What Pete Jackson's done, it's really good. Jason says, does anyone think Phil Spector messed up? Yeah, it sounds awful. It sounds terrible. It's not a good album. That's why I don't like talking about it. It's not a good album. It's not a good album. I remember seeing the film because I think it was shown on TV back in the 80s or 70s. I remember seeing it. Because they used to show stuff like that on telly back in the day, didn't they? Jukabud says, do more Phil. It's cruel. It's cruel. But you know how it's going to go. I showed, because I don't know if you've been watching, they've been doing the Genesis live concert special on YouTube, and they showed the Wembley one, you know, the Invisible Touch one, and I got the DVD out because the sound's better. Obviously, it's in proper stereo, whereas I think it was mono, and so. But then after that, I said to the missus, did you ever watch the Rain I Shine documentary? And she went, what's that? I said, I've got to show you the bit with the chairs. And she goes, what chairs? Phil Collins having a mental breakdown over chairs that he wants to play percussion on. He wants to do the drum solo on the chairs. And and it's like Spinal Tap, and they're going around IKEA looking for the perfect chair to play. I mean, it is absolutely bizarre. I don't know if it's like deliberate. It's been added just so Spinal Tap, or if it really was some sort of mental breakdown about chairs. And I showed it to the missus, and she went, "What the hell is that all about?" Wanted to play a chair, has to have the right percussive qualities, like you do. Very strange. Anyway, I'm glad you enjoyed that. Have I listened to Bay City Rollers? No. What makes a good pop song? It's got to have a hook. The milkman should be able to whistle it. You know, that's it. Melody. It's all about melody and nothing else. Can I do Phil Collins doing shipbuilding? Oh God. Oh crikey. What's the best line from that? I mean, I could just go for the. What's the best line? Because I only know the. Do you want like old Phil or new Phil? Do you want Phil now or Phil? Because I'd imagine he'd do it like Can't Hurry Love. You know, is it worth it? I knew where to go to choose for a wife, like that. But now he'd do it like this. Go, is it worth it? Like that. But that's almost like Robert White, though, isn't it? There's no difference. Oh dear. Oh boy. Where are we? I'm going off track here. Peter Hamilton is 125 years old. Crikey.
La Rosa extends her hand in the morning like the stigmata don't show. He's already making plans. I think it's time I ought to go.
I think I fucked the lyrics up there, but it doesn't matter because you don't know the song anyway.
La Rosa.
But there you go. Where are we? Got to keep it quiet. Tom Pink said the new Blood live album was only PG thing on Spotify. I gave it a go and no, it was not for me. Yeah, it's a tricky one. John Murray says, do you think it's racist if someone points out that a singer or guitarist in a prog rock band is black? Like they make a good point of mentioning it. Well, you know Peter Gabriel was black, you know. He whites up. If someone really labours the point, then you may need to get a new friend. I don't know. It's a bit odd. If the colour of the musician is all that important, it's a bit weird, isn't it? Really. Look, Chester Thompson played with Genesis. Apparently, he might be a black man. I'm not sure. I'm just saying. Or he might have just been out in the sun too long. It's tricky. But one of the top drummers. It doesn't matter, does it? He's one of the top drummers. It doesn't matter. But if your friend's labouring the point, it matters. So you might want to... Old Spanish Archer, you know? Elbow. People are regretting not seeing Peter Gabriel live. Yeah. Tim Jones says, when you're writing and mixing music, how do you know when it's finished? I usually get sick of it. It's like, I'm done. It's either really easy and you go, because I'm a pretty simplistic fellow when it comes to doing things. I like to get in and out quickly. That's that done. So I don't labour it over it, you know. It's got to just hang together. If it doesn't hang together and it's problematic and I spend too long in it, then it can go in the folder, the unused folder, and I'll come back to it many years later when my head's cleared. But usually it's just a matter of I don't labour over it. It's just like bang, guitars go here, guitars go there, bass goes there, drums there, da 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 da. Nothing moves unless it has to. It's pretty. I work from the bottom up, like Peter Gabriel, so it's rhythm track upwards usually. Sometimes it's chords, but the chords are the rhythm, so it's still bottom up, and then add the bass. Again, it's just you get, if you're doing it on your own, if you're playing with yourself a lot, and I play myself a lot, you get into a working methodology. That's why it'd be very hard for me to work with a producer, because I have my way of doing things, and it's dine and dash, in and out, cut and dried. It can't be here too long. I get bored easy, so that's why I like doing the live looping stuff and improvising off of that, because I can do something, and that can be the basis of something else. An idea can come from that. But yeah, it can be difficult sometimes if you've got a busy track. Maybe you've put too much stuff in and you don't want to cut stuff, but that there's a balancing act. That can take a long time. But usually it's just that'll do, pig. You don't want to overdo it, because you send yourself bonkers, and it's meant to be fun. It's meant to be a bit of fun, so so it can be hard. And that thing of ruining, because I'm reading what there is a point you think, I'm going to ruin this. It's difficult. It's different with painting, because a lot of what you do can be destructive. It can be, if you add too much paint, you can destroy the moment. Whereas with audio, the way you do it now is there's bits you can just redo, you can re-record, you can fade out, you can It is the problem is too much choice, too many plugins, too many reverbs, too many delays. And so I tend to have a reverb that I like, or a delay that I like, and I use that, and I don't deviate, because otherwise you get into the wild mess of plugins and effects, and it just goes crazy. But I know exactly where you're coming from there. Lenin's off. Well, stay safe and see you next time. Favourite Robert Wyatt song? Sleep, I'd imagine. Quite like that one. Oh, they've come back to life again. Lost and Found is great. It's the sequel to La Rosa. Fretbuzz says the Phil Collins chair thing was just the brass eye nonsense cake flashback. Yeah, it's a bit like that, isn't it? I don't watch Phil Collins live. Payne says, when I'm mixing, I also work from the drums up. Exactly. Well, that's the, I record from the drums up, so sometimes I record off the drums, but it's the drums and then everything around it is from a mixing point, but also from a recording point. I might do a drum track, and then add some bass, and then add some guitars, and it builds off of that. But also from mixing, you start from the drums and you work out of that, so you don't have the drums overpowering the mix, and it's one way of doing it, isn't it? I can't do Stephen Wilson because he has such a nondescript voice, but well, he's a married man now, so I'm sure his missus has to hoover up his toe jam. Put your shoes on. Anyway, we got to the end. It's getting late. I'm gonna sod off, okay, because it's really late. Have a lovely sleep, and they're still awake. They're buzzing. They're on the Red Bull. They're buzzing, man. Anyway, have a lovely time. Keep safe, because it's a weird world out there at the moment, and we'll do this all again soon. Ta-da.